Yo, yo, yo. Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. Today, I have two of my favorite. You might know them, Dr. Amanda Seay and Dr. Zach Sisler. In the first of what I hope to have a series of great conversations with them about some stuff that's really important in dentistry today. And here's where we're going to start. What most dentists get wrong about the accreditation process. It's an awesome conversation, and you're not going to want to miss this. So please listen up. Hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. You know the jam around here. I have the coolest job in the world. Let me tell you why. Because I get to hang out with the coolest people, influencers, teachers, great speakers, just great people in all of dentistry. And I really don't have to do anything. I just have to ask great questions because they bring the wisdom to you on a great podcast like this to help you improve your practice in your life. And I have an incredible one for you today. Two great human beings who are not only great human beings, but they're brilliant, very influential in this noble profession of dentistry. I have Dr. Amanda Seay and Dr. Zach Sisler. Welcome back, guys. I'm so excited to have you guys back together.
Thank you for having us. It's our honor. I always love being on here with you. It's like just talking to a friend and having fun conversation for an hour.
I agree. But you're going to be the guest here. So I get to be the host, which is the fun part. But I love having you guys on. And I've had you on both separately. And this is the first time I've had you on together. And we're going to be talking about some of the, things that people get wrong about the journey that you guys have been on. But before we do that, I want, we have a lot of young listeners. I would love for them to know, who are you and what do you do? So Amanda, you go first. Who are you? What do you do?
I mean, it always feels weird to say, who are you? Well, I'm a practicing general dentist. I have my own private practice here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's crazy to say I'm in my 24th year of practice. So making me sound wise, hopefully. But I'm passionate about education. So I've been blessed to be an educator in dentistry for, about 15 years now, which has led to so many wonderful opportunities, organizations that I'm blessed to be a part of. And currently right now I am president of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. A lot of different things, but what the Academy has done for me, I joined right when I graduated, and I've met people like Zach through the organization. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, all right. Well, Zach, tell us about you. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so that is kind of an awkward question, but my name's Zach Sisler. I've been practicing since 2010, so I'm going into year 15. I have a small little boutique style practice in a small little town in central Pennsylvania, and dad to 4 kids, husband to a beautiful wife, and realistically trying to still find the balance between the two. I feel like you're always looking for the balance, and it's always hard to find. Whether you actually ever fully grasp it, I don't know. But in amongst lecturing and in amongst practice and traveling and doing all those sorts of things, we're trying to still strive for that. So that's who I am in the midst of all this. Amanda and I got to know each other through the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. I currently serve as the chair of the accreditation board within that organization. So the accreditation process is both near and dear to both of our hearts. And we kind of oversee that process and protect it. So
We're going to open that up and talk more about that. But Zach, you just gave me an idea for another one of our podcasts, and you both have beautiful families. Zach, you have 4, and Amanda, I think you have 4 children.
I know.
Also?
I was going to say, well, I have to talk about my personal life since Zach's talked about his 4 kids and beautiful wife. I have a very hot husband,
Yes.
and 4 beautiful kids.
Yes.
They are 21, 19, 18, and 16. So we were just talking, Zach and I have talked about, the 4 club and what that's like being, a business owner, practice owner, and trying to be, the most important thing is giving to your family what they need and making that a priority. So it is a balance, and the word balance makes me like,
Okay, hold that thought though, Amanda, because I have 4 kids. I don't think I've figured anything out, but together we could create this little therapy group on a podcast and maybe help each other with the best things that we've learned in this journey so far. And so
I didn't know that you were part of the 4 club too.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, I want to know how old are your 4?
So my kids are 12, 10, 8, and 6 literally today. We're celebrating a birthday when I go home. So,
Well, happy birthday.
yeah.
Mine are 25, 23, 21, and 18. So this will be fun. That'll be one of our podcasts. It was like, okay, here's what it'll be. The 4 club, things we've screwed up, and a few of the things we got right that we would share with everybody listening. So what do you think?
A few is correct. Yeah, a few.
Yeah, well, you'll have more to contribute than I will, but it'll be fun. So
the phases are so different, right? Like I think about Zach's phase right now. I'm like, I would go back. But then when you were there, you were like, oh my gosh, this is insanity.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that'll be a theme because I tell everybody adult kids are amazing because you're not so mad at them or trying to tell them what to do. Now they just want to hang out. They're like, where are we going to dinner? Let's go to lunch. Hey, Dad, let's go here. You're like, and then you're telling them things you never told them when they were kids. You're like, yeah, I never told you this when I was a kid, but when you were kids. But it's really fun. So each journey, I agree with you. You kind of think you want to go back, but you don't really. You just want to join the next one. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this will be so fun. All right, let's go back to the task at hand, though. Amanda, you said something before we hit the go button that really resonated with me is like, you guys are very accomplished in your journey. And let me just say that, I watched the 2 of you work so hard to serve your patients, take care of your team, and the greater community of dentistry. And part of what you said is people really have to have some clarity around the journey. It's not what you get out of the Can you start with that thought? Because I think that's a great conversation.
Yeah. Zach, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Good.
Well, clarity around the journey, and I think obviously everybody's path is different. And some people come out of the gate having a very clear vision of what they want. But I think for me, when I came out, I didn't have a clear vision of the kind of dentistry I wanted to do, other than I wanted to do really good dentistry, right? So for me, I think the further along I got into my CE journey and I was surrounded by, mentors or people that were doing the kind of work that I could only dream of doing, it really pushed me to, think bigger of the possibilities of maybe what that vision for myself could look like. So as I did the CE and as I started going and meeting other people, that's when it really shaped and molded what I wanted for myself. And I think that everybody's, like I said, everybody's path is different. And I have friends that know right off the bat that this is what they want to do. And for me, it was kind of this, it evolved and it changed. And then the older I got into the journey, I realized too that for me, success, when I was younger in my career, success meant, when I can do this case, or when my practice is financially successful, or, when I don't have to take insurance, or when I don't have to do this or that. And again, that's changed for me. I mean, the definition of success means so much more than just that, right? It's showing up for work and feeling happy and grateful that you get to do this. And then when you are able to do these cases with confidence and feel like you're giving your patients your best and you know how to run a practice instead of letting the practice run you. And when you can manage that with family life and other things, I mean, it's a whole package, right? So my journey, I would say my vision is still evolving, Kirk. Like it's not, it changes. You think you want something and you go this path and it brings you to something else. You encounter challenges and you either say, I'm going to keep going, or maybe I have to deviate and alter something. So I don't know. That was a very roundabout answer.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And I have so many questions. Zach, tell us about your journey. I want our listeners to know a little bit more about your journeys.
So for me, coming out of dental school, all I knew is I wanted to do cosmetics. Simply put, I just wanted to do cosmetic dentistry. That's what my focus was on. And, I started going down kind of my CE path too. And I think maybe I was a little naive in my thinking initially. You didn't know what you didn't know. And so the more I learned, there was one thought that really resonated with me when I learned it early on with Dr. Dawson. And that was envision your life as if you knew you wouldn't fail. And so that was the beauty about that man, is he kind of like, you walked out of there and he felt like you had the Superman emblem on your chest. And so that was just my vision. It's like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to fail. And then you do it and you realize that, yeah, you do fail and you do have to figure yourself out afterwards and maybe recalibrate and kind of get a better understanding. But the vision never changed. And I think that was my biggest thing is, it wasn't necessarily about money. It wasn't necessarily about the cases I could do. It was really just about, am I going to stay curious enough to always continue to push myself of, if I approach this, if I knew I wouldn't fail, because I feel like I never had that sense in my mind that I would. I just was like, no, I'm just going to do this. And then you do get humbled, you get your tail caught in the door some and you have to kind of recalibrate. But for the most part, like I still try to approach it that way. But the other side of that now, in all honesty, is like, the vision that I had where I was just climbing. As that happened, I struggled really to find contentment, as I was going along the journey. And so now that's been my big thing probably for the last couple of years, is how to find contentment in the midst of still pushing forward. Contentment for me is being at peace with where I am at in the process and knowing that I'm still able to move forward, because I always felt like, well, I don't want to be content because that turns me into complacency and I'm not going to be able to achieve my vision. But for me, I was like, no, I need to recalibrate that again and just say contentment is being at peace with where I'm at in the process. I'm still on the climb. I'm still going to pursue it as if I knew I wouldn't fail and keep pushing. But I'm content with that. And I'm content with where I'm at. So, that's been a big mind shift for me probably in the last couple of years. It's helped me tremendously. And I think it would help a lot of people if they could grasp it, but most people can't. It's a hard thing to kind of, in the Instagram world, it's a hard thing to grasp contentment. So, because we're constantly bombarded. Well, my vision isn't that person's vision. Well, God didn't call you to have that vision. God called you to have your vision. So with that being said, like, this is my vision. This is what I'm trying to live out from that standpoint.
Beautiful.
I just love, you inspire me so much by how grounded you are and your faith and your family. And like Kirk said, the passion for what you do, because, we meet so many wonderful clinicians. But I think that's one of the things that I always saw in Zach that really drew me to him as a friend, is that connection with faith and family. And you're awesome.
So good. Well, Amanda, I want to ask you the question. The word content. What's that? Explain that. Like, off of the heels of what Zach, like, do you feel the same way? Have you changed your perspective when you think of that word?
Related it very well, and I think that has changed for me. And before we got on this call recording, I shared the story with you about, doing the things that make me content and making, it means saying no to things, and really being intentional about my time. So, of course, like Zach, I want to continue growing. I mean, even though, yes, I've been practicing 24 years and I've done a lot of, I've achieved some goals that I set for myself, but it doesn't mean that I've reached some pinnacle or that I know everything and now it's all easy. I want to keep growing. I want to keep getting better. But I also see now how time slips away so fast, and the things that if I could go back and tell my younger self to enjoy the ride a little bit more, and it's okay to take it easy just a bit. I always thought the harder I grind, the more I do, the faster, the better I'll be. Um, but it's true, and maybe that's old age telling you this, but I am learning to be more content, trying to work at a different pace, the one that works for my family, for me, professionally as well. So I mean, I still set goals, I still do those things, but it's not this race anymore. Where I think my earlier self really felt like I needed to do this as fast as I can. So
Force is so strong with you young Jedis. So, Amanda, I think you would know better than I, but if Dr. Dawson or Dr. Coyce was listening to that, they would say that's the transition between knowledge and wisdom. You learn certain things about yourself and the world, and you can't learn. I mean, it would be awesome to be on the fast track to wisdom, but it's one of those things. But oh my gosh, that's another podcast. Okay, you guys are giving me so much to think about now, but I want to go, here's what I really want to talk about, because this comes my way all the time. People think about getting involved with the AACD, starting this journey, the accreditation process. I've heard people firsthand say, I just want that logo, once I get that logo, everything's going to change for me. Patients are going to start paying for cases and all that kind of stuff. And I'm having fun with this, but let's go here. What do most people get wrong about the accreditation process? I also want you guys to illustrate, you are both at different places in this journey. So who wants to go first on this?
Zach,
Let me go first.
Yeah.
I'll go first because I'm the lower level of this journey. And Amanda is way above me. So, no, but so the accreditation process truly, I think when you're talking about contentment and you're talking about these disciplines and the way you're going to view things, I was guilty of signing up for that accreditation process because I thought it was about the medal. I thought it was about the medal that I got the day that I became accredited. You get it at the annual meeting. I was going to have my tux on with my bow tie and everything just right. And I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And then as you begin to go through the process, you realize that it's incredibly humbling because it's pushing you to your limits. It's making you look at things you've never seen before. It's sharpening your eye to make you better, but it's also very, very hard to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you're doing some really great dentistry, but then also you start to measure it up to a certain standard that we're trying to measure it up to, and maybe it's not. So that was hard for me early on. And when I started down the process of that journey, I didn't get it. Like I wasn't getting it. And we talked about this before we got on the call. Like, until I got the medal around my neck is when it hit me like a ton of bricks that it was really about the journey of me learning, not about the medal, not about that logo that, I can put on my website and things. It was about what it was shaping me to be. I think of it very much in the Atomic Habits kind of light, where I set a goal to run a marathon. It's not really because I want to run the marathon. I want to be known as a runner. I want to be healthy. I want to be disciplined. I want to prove that I can do it rain or shine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way with dentistry. I mean, you're going to get up on a lot of days and not feel great and have to go into the office and perform. And so what accreditation does for you is you're striving for perfection. You're striving at the highest level so that even when you're not at your best, when you fall, you're falling into the zone of excellence.
Yeah.
So I might not be perfect. I've never met anybody that's perfect, but when I come to a case or when I come to something like that, I view it as, okay, I'm going to give it all that I possibly can. And even if I do that, there might be some shortcomings here or there, but it's still going to be at such a high level that this patient's getting my absolute best. And so the accreditation process trains your mind and honestly trains your hands to be able to do that. So as you go through the process, I try to expand upon this with when I do the lecture at the AACD every year. I say, don't miss it. It's kind of like with kids, like, don't miss this time right now. Don't miss it. I'm like, what do you mean it? I'm like, I'm drowning right now. Like, I'm drowning. I'm picking kids up. I leave my house 4 times a night just to go pick kids up from things. What do you mean don't miss this?
Yes.
And it's the same thing in accreditation. You're like, are you kidding me? I'm doing these cases and they're beating me to pieces and I can't take it anymore. I'm like, what's going on with this? And I was like, no, that was it. That was the secret sauce. That was the magic. Like, that's when I got better. That's when it kind of transformed the way I was growing and the way I was kind of climbing that peak. And I don't think even I've still reached that peak. I still feel like I'm climbing with it, but that foundation that I had going through the process is kind of what propelled me up the mountain as I'm still trying to climb it. So that's kind of where accreditation, what it did for me and how it kind of shaped me and molded me. Because I had to be honest with myself that it really wasn't about the medal and the tux and everything else. It was about the journey.
Yeah. Now, Amanda, I'm going to ask you about this, but we actually know where you keep your medal. So can you show us? Like, where do you keep it? Do you keep it in like a secure, safe place with like a retina scan or anything like that? No, you just keep it where?
That's a travesty.
Look at that.
I have a medal. Here's where I keep my medal.
Where?
Show it to you very quickly.
Now, for those that are just listening to the podcast, where do you keep it? It's just on a wall. It's just in his office.
It's in the back. It's sitting with all of my kids' gifts and everything.
It's not even steamed.
So this is my accreditation medal, and it's with my basketball medal where we coached the 4th grade basketball team to the tournament championship.
Awesome.
And if anybody follows me on Instagram, you know, every year we do the Turkey Day Olympics with my kids, and this year I came in 3rd place. So,
whoa,
but
that is
now
amazing.
The reason now, don't get me wrong. I do not discredit anybody who wants to display their medal in a case and everything like that. This to me, truly was an ego thing. So to me, when I got this medal, I thought this was the key. This was it. This was what it was. And I went into it with that mentality. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? Be humble about the approach in which you do things. And so just let the medal be back there with the rest. You know, like it doesn't need to be on the wall. So for me, the humility is also how I want to, again, approach a case. I'm not having you, yes, people will seek you out to have this kind of dentistry done once you have something like this. Yeah. But I still want you to come in and know that it's not even about this. It's about that I'm just going to give you all that I got. Like, I'm incapable of not giving you my best. Like, I just want you to have this so bad. So it's not really about this, but it was my ego of why I don't display this. So
thanks for sharing that. Amanda, what are your thoughts? Now, I would just want to add some clarity to this. Zach, what you were referring to, you being on a different level, you're not giving yourself enough credit. And, you mentioned before we hit the go button, you're accredited, and Amanda, you're a fellow, but that doesn't matter. I want you to add some clarity to your perspective, Amanda, on your journey and how it relates to what Zach said.
Yeah, I mean, very similar to, for me, when I first came to the AACD and I was a young dentist, and I would see these dentists that I wanted to emulate, who were doing the dentistry I wanted to do. And I never will forget, I was pregnant with my 3rd. And mind you, I had 4 kids in 5 years. So I felt like I was pregnant for every AACD meeting in the beginning, right? And I was like 8 months pregnant at the AACD in Atlanta. And Betsy Bagman was on stage receiving her fellowship. And I remember, she was a mentor of mine at the Coy Center. and a woman, and I just looked at her and I just thought, there's just no way that I can ever do this kind of dentistry or get to this place. But it was like, for me, the medal was like this goal, right? Like, not even think about fellowship, like just get a credit, like just like start the darn journey. Because I just wanted to be like her. I wanted to be like so many other dentists that I looked up to, right? So I felt like it was this rite of passage that I had to like embark on. And so I started. But like Zach, what I didn't realize as I started the journey and started going through it, and it was not an easy one. I mean, I was in the thick of motherhood and a new practice and never having time for anything. And I really didn't do any. So when you do your accreditation, it starts a 5-year time clock once you take the exam, where you have 5 years to submit 5 different cases. Well, I took the written exam in Atlanta at that meeting, and the time clock began, and I didn't submit anything for almost 3.5 years in. And then I remember just being like, oh my gosh, it's 3.5 years later. I have a 1.5 years left. Am I doing this or am I not doing this? And I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time. And again, it was like excuses or reasons or things that I could rationalize or justify. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but for me, it was a personal challenge to myself to say, remember that moment where you wanted to strive to be a different dentist and to be those things, and not to say that achieving that medal would make me there, but I knew that it would make me better, but not to the growth that I had was exponential. And it wasn't just the knowledge or the learning, but it really was the people that I met, the technicians, what I learned from my lab technician and working with a really good one, to younger and older clinicians that I met, and being surrounded. I have a bigger community. I have like this network that really helped me grow as a person. And so I look back now on how naive I was, because, I think I always try to do really good dentistry, but when I started it, I'm like, I remember my first case that I did, and I'm like, I think this looks really good. I mean, I thought I did really clean, good looking dentistry, and I submitted it to Betsy, and she was like telling me all the things that were wrong with it. And what it did for me almost immediately was start to open my eyes to what good dentistry should look like. Because you think, when you look at your own work, there's a tendency to look through it through rose-colored glasses. And when somebody else is looking at your work and evaluating it and helping you see, you see things differently. So now once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the process for me has really taught me to see a different level of dentistry, give me the community, give me the confidence. It's just really shaped my career. I can't imagine where I'd be if I hadn't embarked on it. But I'll tell you, the day I got that medal and brought it home, and I did put it in a frame, it is hanging on my wall. Nobody knows what it is.
Right.
Most patients don't know. And now with marketing and social media, maybe they do, and they'll go to the website and look for an accredited dentist. But, when I first got my accreditation, the team bought a banner, did balloons, did all this stuff. And my patients just show up for their appointment like they normally do. And they're like, is it someone's birthday here today? So it's again, it was that fulfillment in your heart of really getting to a place to know like that I'm a better dentist today than I was before I started this journey.
Yeah. Go back to something you said. You were talking about the support. Dentistry, as you guys already know, is very lonely. Being an entrepreneur, very lonely. A lot of people say, why would I do this? This is going to be a journey I got to take by myself to the top of this mountain. I'm going to get crushed. You know, you often think of it as an isolated journey, but the truth of it is you have people along the way. And I would love for you to talk about the people you met up this mountain.
I mean,
Go ahead, Amanda.
Zach mentioned Dawson. I'm sure he has lots to say, you know, and for me, there's been so many. I couldn't name any, but you know, all of them. But the Coy Center has been a huge part of my journey. And what you start to realize, though, as you embark on these different CE pathways, there's a lot of crossover. There's the same people that are kind of the ones that do all the CE, you know. So I had a big family at the Coy Center, and then I've always been a part of the AACD right as a new grad. And so as I started going to the AACD, I didn't know anybody the first few years, but then you start to recognize a face here or there, and then it would cross over with some of the people I met from the Coy Center. And it encourages you. It encourages you to keep going because it is lonely. I mean, I can't say that I ever felt like I had enough money to afford the CE that I wanted to take, or feeling like, am I the only crazy dentist that wants to keep taking all these courses and traveling and doing all this stuff? And so you meet other people that are just as passionate, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe there are other people like me out there. So maybe let's do this together. You know, like what course are you doing next? Maybe let's go together. And so it really invigorates you when you have this community to keep you current, to keep you going, because you can get lost in your own bubble where you just do the day-to-day grind, and you're content, but you're not challenged. And when I'm around others, that's what really inspires me to push myself beyond what I think I'm capable of.
So good. Zach, talk about the support up the mountain.
So for me, you know, I think you find your people, like just kind of how Amanda talked. Like I was one of those people too. I was taking every ounce of money I had to invest back in CE for myself, because I knew I always viewed investing in myself. I'm something I always want to bet on. You know, so for me, it's like, I don't have a problem spending money on something like that because I know I'm going to take it and make it work. And then when you start going to these places, you find people and you find who you connect with. You know, I've been to plenty of courses where it's like, that was a good course. I don't know that I connected with them. And then you go to some courses and you're like, that's it. That's my people right there. And so that's what I slowly found too. Some of the mentors that I found along the way, were very kind in their approach. And then I had some that were a little bit more to the point, as we would maybe say. And I found that I tended to resonate with the to the point people much better. Like, just give me what I got to do. Because again, I'm just envisioning that I'm not going to fail this process. So it was good for me though, because I was a little bit different in my approach than Amanda was. I took the exam and I said, all right, clock's ticking. So I went to my one confidant mentor, Dr. Scott Finley, and I said, I'm going to do this in a year. And he goes, and he laughed at me just like Amanda did. And he goes, okay, well, let's get going. And so from June to December, I submitted 4 cases. Like I had done 4 cases. I was ready to roll, submitted all 4. And he's like, this is the one that you're probably going to have an issue with. This is what I see. I was like, Scott, all due respect, I don't see it. It's going to be great. It's going to go great. Submitted all 4. That was the one that I wasn't worried about. And that was the one that failed. So again, for me, it was good for him to say, told you so. That's why you work with mentors. That's why you have me in your corner. So you got to listen to me now that I'm in your corner. Yeah. And so it was very good to find those mentors who resonated with you. I get that I'm not going to resonate with everybody, and I get that Amanda might not resonate with everybody, but you're going to find your people. And then that sense of community is like a thick band of brotherhood from that standpoint, or sisterhood. So for me, I found mentors that I didn't even realize. Scott was initially my first mentor. My second mentor was Adamo, who I met randomly via just some other random connection. And he was tremendous to me too. Again, to the point. I don't need the fluff, I just want the to the pointness. And so, like Kirk, on the DISC scale, like I'm a D. So from that standpoint, like just tell me the points. And so like the people who start to say, well, let's talk about it. Let's sit down and look at it. I'm like, no, you're not my mentor. Like we're moving on.
Yeah.
So I need people who are my people. And so that's where I found them. And, honestly, they're both dear friends to me still today. I could text them for anything and they would still be there for me. This was so much more beyond than the accreditation process, because I feel like you said, Kirk, it's a lonely road. So when you find these people, like you kind of grow together quick and fast, and it's a thick bond. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. I've learned a lot through the process from them, and that's just continued my kind of expanding my knowledge from that standpoint.
Yeah. I love this. I could take this apart. We could have a 4-hour podcast. We're going to go into disc styles. No, I'm just kidding. Amanda, just for reference, what disc style are you? D-I-S or C? What are you?
I'm split.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
Are you a DC?
Yeah, I'm a little heavier D, but C. Yeah, I know. Don't you love it for me?
Well,
that is funny. I love that.
I didn't have her pegged as a DC. That's
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
But I haven't done it. It's probably been maybe 8-10 years since I've done it. And they say it changes, right? Yeah. So I probably need to do it again. I'd be interested to see. My team thinks I'm a D, but I don't know. But the last time I took it, I was kind of split.
Yeah. Well, that's another podcast. You see how this is developing? We're not going to talk about disc styles. We're going to talk about how you change over your career. Like I once used to react like this. Now I take a breath, this type of thing. So, but that's a whole nother.
Oh, right. Because like when I've known Zach forever, and he doesn't come across as a D to me.
Oh man, I am like straight D, not even towards the I, not even towards the C, all the way out on the outer edge of the hemisphere. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another podcast. I'm going to follow you both and just a day in the life of Zach. We're going to get in the car, go to all the kids' activities, and then Amanda, I'm going to watch how many phone calls in like how do you do what you do? I would learn so much. It would be awesome. So
I actually, that was a New Year's resolution. So I journal every day. And so I have monthly calendar, daily calendar, and I actually tracked how many calls, webinars, blah, 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 whatever, days away from home, not related to personal family, like work, so that I could make like real resolutions for this year. Based on that stuff, because I just feed it in right now to whatever I'm doing, and it's like you don't think it takes up a lot of time, but oh my gosh, it takes up a lot of time.
Okay, save the data. We're going to tease our listeners with the fact that you compiled that data, and we're going to share it in future. Okay, I'll put together some data. It'll be like underwhelming, but like we'll learn something from it.
No, it's nothing to be proud of, because it shows you. I'm reading this book, and the reason it's timely. I'm reading this book called "Buy Back Your Time." Have you heard?
Oh,
yeah, love it.
Glad you came to the party.
Yeah,
yeah, and but I was already doing this before I read the book, and I'm still reading it right now. But I'm like, oh my goodness,
it's amazing.
So scared now to like really look at all the tallying of all this stuff and say, what am I going to transfer? What am I going to fill my time with?
Yeah. Dan Martell, right? Like,
yep.
I read it 2 years ago. It's amazing. So we're going to make this a home study course. So all of you go get the book, and then we're going to talk about the book. It'll be like our little book club.
I'm only on chapter 3, but already, and I'm on chapter 3 where it talks about the 5 pitfalls of entrepreneurs. Yep. And I'm like, like every time he says something, I'm like, oh my gosh, is that me?
They weren't pitfalls for me. They were canyons, like
Yeah.
really big canyons. So, all right, let's go back to the topic because some people are listening like, where are you guys going with this? We'll bring this home and then I rest assured, I'm going to get them back and we're going to open up some more of these topics. But before we close, I want like any other thoughts come to mind. If I'm a dentist listening and I'm considering this journey of accrediting, what do most people get wrong and what do you want to say to them if they're listening?
Well, I don't know what people know or don't know about the AACD, but I will say that sometimes in the world of cosmetics, they think it means putting, 28 veneers on every patient that walks in your door. And that's not what our academy is about. It really isn't. It's about responsible aesthetics, and you hear that over and over again. But what does that really mean? I mean, if you have one crown, don't you want it to be made with the best materials, the best techniques, using, the best labs and the understanding behind it, the science behind it. And so I'm proud about our academy is that we really offer a full range of that, of how to be a really great restorative dentist, do things conservatively and beautifully. So it's not so that every patient that walks in your door gets, a smile makeover. I mean, and I try to be really intentional about, cases that I share so that people know that we do different materials. We use composites. We do porcelain. We now have printed materials. We have so many things. And so this is where you come to gain that knowledge of how to do all of those wonderful procedures to do beautiful dentistry. So, and we have so many hands-on courses. So it's just for me such a great place that I started my journey in dentistry with and continue to this day. So I hope that everybody can come experience it.
I love it. Zach, your thoughts?
I guess in the vein of accreditation, I guess if there's anybody listening to this right now and they're maybe just driving in their car or they're on their way to work and you're kind of in the mundaneness of it and you're just like, man, like another day, it's another Monday. Like just know, like you were built for something more. And so if this is the spark that kind of like gets you going, then maybe it's time to come back to invest in yourself and just say, look, I'm going to do this because I know I'm meant for something more. I need something to shake this up. Because to me, I'm never going to be upset with investing in myself. So this might be the investment that you're looking for here going into 2026, or maybe you're just like, man, things are getting stale. Things are getting stagnant. All right.
Yeah.
It's up to you to make that change. Like it's up to you. So you're built for something more than what you're doing right now. And you're probably more than capable than what you think you can do right now. So
I love that.
I do too. So many more questions I want to ask, and we'll go down this path. Now, if I'm somebody listening, maybe a dental student, or I'm fresh into practice, I don't even know where to start. Like, coach me. Where do I go? Where would you suggest, both of you?
Well, come see us in April at our scientific session. It's in Aventura, so near Miami, Florida. Our scientific sessions every year, and it's a different location every year. But becoming a member gives you so many more member benefits, which we can talk about another time because we don't have a lot of time for that. But joining the AACD gives you access to a lot of things, but the scientific session is I think where the magic happens, because you get your hands-on workshops, you get your lectures, and then you have your community. That in-person meeting, nothing can beat it. It's one of my favorite things that I look forward to every year.
I mean, it's one of my favorite meetings I've been going to since I came a member. So this is probably going to be like my 10th year coming up, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to go back because again, I found my people. Like I found who I want to hang out with. I see the familiar faces. And when it comes to like being able to show up at a conference and getting the most bang for your buck, I feel like it's one of those kinds of conferences, like where, well, I don't want to sit and listen to the same person. You don't have to. Like we've got everybody from all over the globe coming to teach. Like this is amazing. So you pay your one fee, and then you can have hands-on courses if you want to do hands-on. You can have a lecture course if you want to do a lecture course. So there's a lot of things for everybody there. And that doesn't even mean that you're headed down the accreditation path. That just means, hey, I just want to kind of up my game a little bit. Like this is the place to kind of come. So from the standpoint of when somebody asks me, like, what's your favorite meetings in the year? I was like, I go to AACD every year. It's just a flat blanket statement. I go there every year. And so, or at least have to this point. So with that being said, like I would encourage people to like, just check it out.
Awesome. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much for being back on. I feel so blessed. I have two rock stars on the same podcast. It's awesome. So cool. Well, if you're okay with this is called voluntolding. I'm going to volunteer you for it, but you don't even have an option. We're going to have you back and we're going to go through the 4 Club and all the other subjects that we talked about. What do you think? Like you can't even say no. Look, you can't.
That would be so fun because there's so many, funny stories with kids, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
Yeah. It'll be awesome. So cool. We'll stick around when we say goodbye to everybody else, but thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. This is a great example why dentistry is just the greatest profession ever. If you're in your office and you're just worried about the future, you feel, well, don't do that. Get out, see some of these great people and what they do. And if anything, they're going to inspire you to be more than what you want to be. And it's so cool. And here's how the podcast works. If you're not taking notes, don't worry. We're taking notes for you. So whether you listen to Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, just flip up to the notes. You're going to see all the links to what we were talking about. So when Amanda mentioned that meeting, the link will be right there. You can click on it. We make learning as easy as possible. So keep showing up. We're going to keep bringing it. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.